takes a minute. Okay. All right. I think that we're live now. So I am super excited to be here with you, Stacy. I'm super excited as well to highlight everything that you're doing because I think there are so many women who could benefit from your insights and experience. So maybe you want to start by introducing yourself and telling us about your background. I'm really curious to understand like how you got started helping people advertise on Meta.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's so great to be here, Liz. I love that we're doing this together in your community, and yeah, it's great. My name is Stacy Kovitz, and which kind of became unfortunate about 5, 6 years ago to have that last name. But do you get that?
I got it.
Yeah. That's how I started. So as Covi, yeah. So, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 21 years. I have four all grown up now daughters and stayed home and loved it. Then my husband lost his job and I started thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do something, and started putting together a resume. And then I started thinking and having all this doubt and questioning, what do people still do resumes? I don't know. And then I freaked out and I ended up in online space. And this was probably 2014, 2013, doing all kinds of stuff. And then I was in MLM, just this big thing. And in 2020, I was working part time in an office, a financial office, and it was all bros, it was all men. And I love men. This is not anti men, but I was invisible. I was invisible. I mean, I worked there for 3 years and would be at a gathering, an office gathering, and people would come up to me and introduce themselves and had no idea. They'd walk by my cubicle every day and had no idea I even worked there. So when the pandemic came, I came home. I'm like, I got to get out of there. Started to be a virtual assistant, did that for about a month and realized I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get paid, hourly, this teeny tiny a bit hourly to do all this admin stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew I could do more. So I decided to specialize. And there was a lot of women I already knew in the online space. And there was one that I was working with. And I decided to take her course. This was 2020, 2021. And I've been doing meta ads ever since. It was an ads course and just got more and more specialized. I wanted to make real money. I wanted to specialize enough where people valued the skill that I had and not just a task, a button pusher. So I've been doing it for 5 years and I love it. My school community and this just it's an not anti, I shouldn't say that. It's no bro marketing. And I carry that with me because when I got into the online marketing space, I realized, oh my God, they're everywhere. They're here
Yeah,
too. Ah!
100%.
And it's kind of what we all see. And I want to bring a different taste to that without that ick. That makes sense. So yes, so that's how I got into it.
Yes. Amazing. I love that. Yeah, I can completely resonate with what you're saying. I've also worked in a kind of male dominated world and not, I love men too. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's true. It's everywhere what we see. It's just very loud and it doesn't always feel congruent. I think for a lot of women who are building their businesses and just can't really adhere to that kind of bro culture. So, yeah, I can really resonate with what you said. So what's the biggest mistake though that you see women entrepreneurs make when they start running meta ads?
I love this question because there's a lot, and I don't want to say like everyone's making all these mistakes, but women that come to me that I work with a lot of times will say ads don't work or ads didn't work. And then we get to the bottom of it and it turns out, you know, they're not they're not ready. And not ready meaning there's no strategy, and it doesn't have to be this complicated strategy, but you need to have the right intention going in. What are your goals? And a lot of times people just say, "Oh, I just created this course. I think I'll throw ads, I'll throw some ads at it and I'll make $1 million." And yes, that's not going to work. And there's a lot of different things like that, just doing ads without having any knowledge of what's involved, or hiring someone who also doesn't get to the bottom of what they're trying to do. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of putting together a great ad campaign. And so there's so many different things that women do that could be better, is all. And it's not their
Yeah, I
fault. I
love
mean,
that.
yeah, because anybody can do it, right? Anybody can go in there and go, "Oh, I can do
Sure.
this." I mean, yeah, I've got stories of myself as well.
Yeah, no, and I love what you said about like jumping immediately to the conclusion. Like they tried it once and it didn't work. And so the conclusion is ads don't work, right? And I think it's so interesting how many people do that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Did you really dig deeper to understand why it didn't work for you in this context and then go back and, try to do something differently? But speaking to that question, then, like, how do you know if your business is really ready for ads versus when you're just feeling impatient because you want to grow your business really quickly?
Right. And I get that. And I'm so impatient and I want to grow my business really quickly too. And I'm so guilty of all those same mistakes. Social media, post once and go, "Ugh, social media is terrible. It doesn't work. Nobody saw, no one commented, and you quit, right? Or just anything, email marketing. No one's opening up my email." So, how do you know you're ready? Is what are you wanting to do? If you say, "I want to do ads," have a look at why. Why do you want to do ads? Do you have a traffic problem? Or do you have a scaling problem? Are you already selling what you've got and everyone loves you, but you've tapped out of your market, so you need to reach more people? Or are you just impatient? You just started your business and this has got to be the way to do it because I got to do it fast. And you could do that, but you have to have the proper expectations and the money, right? You need to have a big budget to
Sure,
just start from nothing.
sure. Yeah, I think that's what people forget sometimes too. I mean, ads can be a big black hole if you allow it to be. I mean, you could dump tons of money into ads and have like zero results from that. It's pretty easy to do that, actually.
It
I
is.
think
It
people don't
is.
necessarily realize.
Yes. So a couple things to have in place to be ready. The main thing, if your goal is to sell a product or a service, you need to start with a proven offer. Don't
Mm,
start with an offer you've never sold.
mhm.
Unless, again, and I'll back this up, unless you have a lot of money, unless you want to use ads to prove your offer, but then you need to come at it with a really big budget because you're going to be doing a lot of testing before you figure out if your product is going to sell, right? Because the ad's job isn't to sell the product or the service. The ad's job is to get people into your world looking at your product or your service, and the rest is
Sure.
on the business.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do think that some people skip steps. It's like I always say, you don't send out a resume thinking that that's going to get you the job, right? The resume gets you an interview, and then in the interview, you sell yourself, right? And I feel like ads are kind of the same way. Like people are really looking for the end goal, but don't realize like there's a lot of steps along the way. So that makes a lot of sense what you said. But what does strategy really mean in the context of meta ads? Like, what are people skipping when they're just like boosting posts, for example?
Oh my gosh, boosting posts is like the hill I'll die on. I've created so much content about boosting posts. So, the strategy, again, it all comes down to your goal. So, depending on what your goal is, the strategy will be different. And if your goal is, if you're a new business and you don't have an audience or no one knows who you are, no one's seeing you, that's where we all start, right? You could do ads to just get an audience, and not necessarily an audience that are opting in and getting onto your email list, but just visibility. And so
Sure.
that's one strategy. And that's a low, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that, but you still need to do it strategically, meaning don't just get on there and say, well, here, I'll just start sharing my offers to get visibility, because when you're doing visibility ads, you don't want to have a call to action. You don't want to be salesy. This is a warming up thing, right? So it's a first date. It's a you want people to start to notice you. So that's one strategy. So it all just depends, with ads, and I guess in marketing in general, everything depends. Your strategy is going to depend on
Sure.
what your goal is and what your budget
Yeah.
is and timeline. Um, Boosting posts, we can come back to that, or we can get right into it. It's up to you.
Well, what's your like general theory about boosting post?
So here's my experience with, I have so many stories about, I'll have a discovery call with someone on my calendar, and we'll get to talking, and they'll say, "Well, I've done ads before, and yeah, it didn't work. So, I want to hire you to make them work." And then I dig a little bit deeper, and they thought boosting posts was the same
Um,
as doing
I
ads.
see. Yeah.
And here's my kind of pet peeve or passion about this is, I'm mad at Meta for that. I'm mad at Meta for that. I feel like,
Mm.
and I mean, this, we're not on Meta, so it's okay for me to say this. Right? I don't
They're
want
not
to get
listening.
like, yeah, like, but I feel like it's a kind, not a bait and switch, but I feel like the
Mm.
way they make it really easy to, you post something and you get in there and Meta will have a pop-up like, oh, boost this post for $11. And I've done it. I did it 6, 7 years ago when I was doing, multi-level marketing, and thought, $5, okay. Click okay, and then you forget or whatever, and then it's $60 later, and you're like, what is this? Wait, did I get, no one called me, no one bought anything. And people will come to me, and so Meta has this pop-up, makes it super easy. You have no idea what you're doing. It's this spontaneous purchase, and nothing happens.
Mm.
It wasn't the magic bullet you were hoping for. And for me, it feels like, of course you should trust them, right? They're suggesting this to you. They're telling you, hey, if you do this, this is going to be
Mm.
great. And so many people do it. They feel burnt because their expectation was, this was offered to me by the people on this platform to tell me that it's going to be great. I spent my money, it didn't work, so ads don't work.
Mm,
And so that's
mm,
kind of my problem with it. If you're boosting a post with intention because you know what it's going to do for you, then that's fine. And there are certain strategies that boosting a post might be the right one. But for most people that do it, they don't know. And they're getting tricked. I don't want to say that because that makes us seem stupid, and we're not stupid, but um yeah. So boosting a post, there's a few things about it. Number 1, it's not for sales. Boosting a
right,
post, if you're trying to
right.
sell something, don't boost a post. And that's number 1. So many people that boost posts expect sales.
Hmm.
So if you want sales, don't boost a post. Boosting a post is not, you're not getting the best bang for your buck because you're not in Ads Manager where you have a lot more control over who sees it and where they see it,
Right.
and you know what I mean? So yes,
Yeah.
so it's when you're in Ads Manager, you've got all the controls. And boosting a post, they just, yeah. So don't boost a post unless that's your intention.
Yeah, for me, boosting a post is like boosting my ego, right? Like my daughter, my daughter is 17 and she's paid, I don't know, a couple of dollars or whatever to boost some posts, but just because she wants more likes for
Oh,
her own
right.
ego. Like, so her friends can be like, oh, you got a post with, I don't know, a couple of hundred likes or whatever. So,
Exactly, exactly. So exactly. And she, I guess she knew that going in, right? She knew if I boost this post, I'm going to have some vanity
yeah, well,
metrics.
she's also not selling anything. So.
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, I just
Mm,
I want to really get the word out that boosting a post is not a strategy to sell anything, and it's not really doing an ad.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
So if someone were to have a small test budget, like how much would they need to spend and what's the smartest way to use it?
okay. So great question. And I'll say it depends. So they have a small budget. They want to do some testing. What are they testing? What's their ultimate goal? What's their North Star? Are they testing, I want to see if my product sells or if I could build my email list? Um, do
Well, what would you
or
recommend? Would you think it's better for somebody to do ads to build the email list? Or because I know there are a lot of network marketers, for example, who are selling products, and their ultimate goal is to sell the product, right? But sometimes people need a lot of time to actually buy a product before they're going to take a leap of faith and go
yeah.
for it. So what for you, like what are the steps that somebody would need to do if they really wanted to be able to leverage ads for, let's say, a network marketing business?
You know what? That is a really great question, and no shade to network marketers, but I wouldn't work with a network marketer on ads, and I
Okay.
don't necessarily think, and because I don't, I yeah, the it's tricky. Doing
Okay.
meta ads for network marketing is tricky
Okay.
because you can't legally do the team building,
I see.
right?
Mm,
Um, and that's what a lot of network marketing is. You're trying to recruit people,
sure.
and you can't do that.
Okay.
So if you really are just doing a sale of a product, you need to have a warm audience first, or you're going to spend a lot of money. So
Sure.
if you're going straight from a product to a cold audience, um, it's more expensive. So there's really not a budget friendly way to do that.
And what about driving somebody to like a Skool community? I know that there are a lot of women in this group who have their own Skool communities. what would you do in that kind of case scenario? Because I understand it's very theoretical to talk about it when you don't have like an example business. And but so what would you advise somebody who has a school community who wants to get, let's say, members to their school community?
I love this because I'm newish to Skool. I've only been on Skool as a community owner since maybe December or January. And so I had never done ads for Skool. I didn't even know it was a thing. And so and I now I kind of differentiate, like, do you want to do ads out there, like over there, or are we doing them here? And there's so many different ways you can do them. And I feel like it's a really great way to get new members into your community. So many different ways. You could, because there's two plans, right? There's the hobby plan on
Right.
Skool, and then there's the, I don't know what they call it. I just say the $99 plan. I don't do you, is there a name?
Maybe it's premium, I don't know, but yeah, I
I
get
don't
what
know
you
either.
mean.
Yeah. So if you have the $9 plan, you don't have the tracking mechanism. So what you could do is advertise your school community as a come check it out as a visibility ad, or you could do a have them come to your like Instagram and do a DM strategy where they see your ad and message you, and you could do, an automation or something like that. Or you could do a, follow me if you like this, and all the followers you could reach out. So there's a lot of ways around that. If you have the 99 professional premium plan, then you have the tracking mechanism. And so it opens up a little bit more opportunity for strategy. You could have people opt in for, a challenge or some sort of product that you've created, and do it as a lead magnet where they join your school to get it, or you can invite them after on an email sequence. I mean, it's like what you would probably do anywhere else, but I did some ads to my school community, and what I found was, and this was a test. Everything's a test. um, I want to see if I could get people, and it was before I upgraded to the 99. So this, I didn't have the tracking or anything like that. Send people to a challenge ad. Like, I am doing a challenge, opt in, give me your email address, and you're going to get the challenge by joining my community. And what I found was my my conversion on that was only like 20%, maybe. I think I only had 20% of the people that opted in join my community. And yeah, so I was a little bit like, okay, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do it this way again.
Mhm.
I would have been better off, I think, using a email sequence and then invite them in. But I haven't done a lot of testing, but I have all of the, I mean, I am ready. I've got it going. I'm following, there's Evelyn. I'm sure you know Evelyn. Everyone
Yes.
knows her, right? She's
Yeah,
like
everyone knows
meta
her.
ad school
Sure.
queen. And she is crushing it. Now she does ads for Skool. She is the Skool person.
Right.
I mean, the budget is, I mean, that would be so fun, right? She gets to spend. I mean, I can't even imagine. I would imagine it's $1 million that she's spending on ads for Skool.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to start for $5 or $10 a day, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people do that. People that are doing summits and stuff like that, they just
Sure.
bring them in for $15, $20 a day with, hey, if you're my, if you are interested in making money as a woman, I want you in my community, right? And then
Mm,
just have them click and have them come over. Evelyn teaches that you don't even have to have a product, a lead magnet to do that. You just talk about how great your community is and what you're building, and people want to join you that way. So I'm excited, really excited about the opportunity of ads in Skool, the
mm.
two. Excuse me.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So what do you think needs to be working organically though before somebody is going to pay for ads to kind of amplify their offer?
Okay, so you need to have a nurturing. So the whole ecosystem should
Mm,
be working. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, I have all these followers on organic, so I'm ready for ads. You don't have to have a big following on social to start ads, but start with your profile. Make
mm,
sure your profile on Instagram and Facebook is optimized and that it's very clear when someone sees your profile, what you do, who you are, who you serve. So don't start ads before that. Make sure you have capacity. I'll talk to clients that say, I want 500 people in my webinar. Great, we could do that. Now tell me, right? Tell me what happens after that. Well, I'm going to pitch at the end. Awesome. Now, how many people do you want? Oh, I want 50 new people in my high ticket coaching program. That's amazing. I love that. Do you have capacity to do that? Because if you don't, what does it look like when all these new people come in? Do you have a team? Do you have systems? So it all needs to be ready and set up and working. And, you know, when I work with clients, I work on retainer, and I also have some project work, but I work mostly on retainer. And the first month is when we're kind of getting ready to start, right? We're going to start testing. And a lot of times I get in there and they've already paid me. So I get in there and I think, "Oh my gosh, we're not ready. This isn't this isn't set up right. This is broken. There's no follow-up sequence. This is and we've had our discovery call. I've asked these questions, but you don't know what you don't know. So as a
mm,
business owner, you think, yeah, I'm ready. I've been in business, 5 years. I have customers. I have an email, I have an email list. I have all these things, but it's different when I get in there and I start looking at you don't have tracking, you don't have your pixel set up, you don't have your Facebook optimized, you don't have a plan to nurture people. And
mm.
we end up spending the first month or 6 weeks getting ready. And I feel bad because I don't mind doing the work. I've already been paid, but that's not what you hired me to do, was to get you ready. And
Mhm.
so have your pixel, have your business suite, so your meta business suite set up, which is different than your personal. A lot of people
Sure.
don't know that either. A lot of people don't know that you need to have a business page to
Right.
advertise. So have that set up. Make sure you have a nurture, some way to nurture the people, because if you spend the money on ads and you don't get any sales, you're going to blame the ads. But what happens after, again, like I said, the ad's job is to get people to your world and your product or your service. Once they're there, the ad worked. If people are opting in, then the ad did its job, right? So everything in the back end needs to be functioning and ready to go. I don't even remember the question. I've had too
Yeah,
much
no,
coffee. I'm like, wait, what
that
was
absolutely answers the question. No, that's great. Thank you for that. Um, so yeah, so if I, heard you correctly, in order to start doing ads, it's really better that all of the systems and processes in place to nurture people are already there and kind of set up, and that there really is a way to be able to cater to people should then they say yes to whatever it is that you're offering, because you don't want to put it out there and then actually have people ready to work with you and you're not actually ready to work with them.
right? Like all of a sudden you have leads and you don't even know you have them because you didn't know how to check for them, or you didn't know. And this wouldn't be if I was working with you, because I mean, I would you would know if I was working with you. But if you were doing this on your own, let's say, like, oh, I'm going to do these there's lead forms, right, that
Right.
are native on Facebook, and those are a great way to start out if you have a smaller budget and you don't have a website or pixels and all of that, because it's super easy. They don't have to leave the platform. So it's a lower lift for them. There's less friction. It'll cost you less money. But if you don't know when you get a lead, that's a problem, because they don't just show up. You don't get an email, hey, you got leads. There's a back way to get them. So you need to know all those things before you start doing this yourself, or have someone that lets you know this stuff, because there's ways to connect your CRM so the leads automatically come in and show up, and then there's a way for you to connect those two with a Zapier. Everyone says it differently. Um, or you can go in yourself to the back end of Meta and download your leads yourself. But you need to know where to do that. And not everybody
Got it.
does. Yeah. So yeah, do a little pre-work. Your pixel, I always tell people that they should always have their pixel set up, even if they never think they want to run ads. If you're a business owner, set up a business page like right now. Get your pixel and put it right now on all of your funnels, websites, Skool, if you have the $99 plan, like put your pixel everywhere, because it's collecting data. And you can use that data 6 months back. So you start your business in January and you think, oh, I'm never going to run ads. I don't care about ads. And then come May, you know what? I think I am going to try ads. You could have already had all of that data. And the data is important, not just so you could target those people, but Meta is Meta's now learning about you. They're learning about your business and who you are, what you offer, who's attracted to you, who's not. So when you do start running ads, they've already it's called a seasoned pickle. Seasoned pixel. And the more seasoned your pixel is, sounds a little dirty. The more seasoned your pixel is, the better optimized your ad is going to be, and the better you're going to have a more successful campaign. When it's a brand new pixel or a brand new ad account, it takes time, which is another mistake people make. And this one I 100% get, which is oh, I'm going to do it. I'm ready. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start ads. And I see this a lot in my community. I'm getting ready to get ready, and it's scary, right? It's your own money, and it's scary. And so you put your money in and you look at it every minute, every 5 minutes. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Oh my gosh, they've spent $10. They've spent $20. Nothing's happening. And you turn it off. You freak out and you turn it off. Or you start going, oh, they don't like this, or I'm going to change my messaging. And you start doing all these things. And Meta is never learning, because every time you start futzing with it and making changes, it all starts over. So when you
Yeah, that's a
first
great
start,
point.
you need to wait and just, like, if you can, just walk away. Start with a smaller budget that you are willing to set aside for testing, not for results. Just, you know what? I'm going to spend $50 this month for testing. I'm expecting nothing's going to happen, but I want to see what happens. So I'm willing to set my ads and let them sit there for 3 days and see what Meta does without me touching them. And then they get optimized. But people just, it's hard. It's hard to see your money get spent with the return not coming in. So don't turn your ad off in one day. Don't make changes in one day. You have to be ready to let them work their magic, because we all know this algorithm, right? It's brilliant, but frustrating.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, and you hit on a point I was going to ask you, like, a lot of women feel really anxious about wasting money. So, how should they think about risk when it comes to ads? Like, I love what you just said, like, don't turn them on and off and be fiddling with them and changing them. Like, you just have to let it run. But how can women like not feel so anxious about it so that they can kind of do that in faith without, worrying that they're going to be wasting all their money on nothing?
this is the best question ever, because it's a mindset. It's a it's a reframe. We are putting aside part of our money this month for data. We're going to pay for data. We're going to hire a firm and we're going to say, go get us some data. And we're going to give them $100, $50, $200, whatever, and come back and tell me what happened. And we're not giving them the money to increase our sales, grow our budget, grow our audience, have people opt in. That's not what it's for. It's for testing. Now, if you have that mindset, it's never a waste of money. It's never a waste of money, because you learned you could look at the data and see what happened. And even if the data shows nothing happened, that's great data. That's really great to go back and say, okay, this didn't land. This didn't land. Something didn't work. But that's the mindset you have to have when you're brand new to ads, is this money, you need how much. And I've asked this before on calls, initial discovery calls, how much and I want to say, how much are you willing to lose, but how much are you willing to invest to see no return on? Because that's got to be where your mindset is to have a successful campaign. You can't get it, there can't be any emotion. Take the emotion out of it. No drama, just data. And hey there. So it's a reframe of the wasting money mindset. And it's all good, because if you go in there and say, I'm going to spend, even people that boost posts, right? They got data. They got data that it sucked. They didn't get what they wanted, right? I'm not going to do that anymore. It's like anything that we're learning. You start walking, you fall, you get back up. You learned, oh, I can't do it that way. So I mean, I love the test of it all. I love looking at the metrics. I love seeing what's working, what's not. And when you're doing testing and willing and have the mindset to use the money to start testing, do it, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So right now, Meta's it used to be targeting. We used to go in there really granular. We used to go really granular on our targeting, right? We would be like, "Oh, Amy Porterfield and Tony Robbins, and they must like Slack." And like you would go in there and you'd pile on all these targeting, um, interests and job descriptions, and really want to nail your ideal person. And now it's changed because they came out with Andromeda, which isn't, it's not a new algorithm. It's just the new way that they're delivering the ads to people. And it's all about you as the marketer calling out your person. So we're not targeting like that anymore. We could still use targeting, but we're not doing it as minute as that. So you would want to call out your person and your copy, in your creative. And so when you're testing that, so when you've got, let's say you $200, I'm going to spend $200 this month. I want to gather data. I want to see if my messaging is working. And I'm going to try, these 5 ads with this 5 different messaging. And what comes back is this seemed to work. I got a lot of data about this. This is working. This is working. Oh, Meta didn't use this one. I spent $200 and it sat there for 20 days and Meta never even spent this. Maybe that's not, maybe that's not a good message for me. Um, does that make sense? Am I explaining that?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. So really it's a sandbox and you're the investment, but the money that you're putting into it really is an investment in understanding and data and being able to fine tune and then keep going.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I had said earlier, if you have a new product, it might not be a validated offer. And if you have the budget and you're curious, hey, I'm going to try ads and see if this resonates with people. And I would love to get this proven. I would love to have this offer validated. And if you have the money, sure, do that with ads. Get it done faster. Again, not my advice, but start small and test your messaging. Start small, test your creative. What I like to do with brand new people that have never run ads before, or newer businesses or smaller budget clients, is not smaller budget clients. That didn't sound right. Clients with a smaller budget is, let's build your audience. And I do this with almost everybody because I think it's so important, the visibility aspect, which is you're not known yet. You don't have an audience. You're not really active on social media. You don't have an email list. You don't have visibility right now. And let's start there. And these ads, these are my favorite beginning ads, which is do a reel, do something that about, explaining what you do, whatever that content is, and have a few of those, send them out, $5 a day, and then re- build up an audience, because you can create custom audiences in Facebook by the data, who watched my video, for how long, dump them into an audience, and then watch that build, and then eventually start sending new content to all those people. And after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days with this strategy, you have built up this nice, warm audience of people that know you. They're starting to watch you, they like you, they respect you, they trust you, and then bam, go in there when you're ready to sell, right? And then that's your audience. So anybody that doesn't already have an audience or a following or brand awareness, I always say we got to start with that. And you become, hey, I know that girl. She's everywhere. She's everywhere. Oh my, there she is again. There she is again. And you get on a call with that person and they say, yeah, you're famous. I see you everywhere. And no, I run ads. That's all. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful way to start out your ad journey, are these
I love
visibility
that.
ads.
I love that. So how long should somebody test for before they start deciding whether it's working or it's not working? Like assuming like, okay, we're going in all in for the visibility piece. I'm looking to
Mhm.
create visibility. I want to create a following. How long should somebody realistically test these ads before they decide like, yes, this is working. No, this is not working.
So initially, right, the first time you hit publish, that's a 3-day, 72 hours test. With these visibility ads, I've got this 90-day system where we start out, in 30 days you're just blasting a couple different pieces, and then you start nurturing those people, but you're still in that initial, you know, people. I want people to see all this, and then you're narrowing it down into this, warmer funnel. And then after, 60, 90 days of once you have about 1,000 people in your custom audience that have engaged somehow, then you could start with your conversion content. So you could start, trying to get them to opt in for a lead magnet or sell if you want. And it's not that it doesn't work before that, but if you want the best price and have the most success as far as lower opt-in costs, then it's always better to have a warmer audience. And that's how you warm up an audience, is with this content, this everywhere content. So it's like
I love
organic, but yeah, it's like boosting, right? It's the same thing, but with
Sure.
intention and
I love
tracking.
that. So how can people contact you if they want help getting started with running ads?
So I am on, barely, but I'm on Instagram. I have a Skool community called Ads Gen X Ads for Gen X Women. No bro energy, no bro tactics. That's on Skool. I've got a website. You can go to stacykovitz.com and my services are there. And I work with all kinds of, like, you don't have to have a big ad budget to run ads. I want to make that clear. A lot of people think that you do. A lot of people think, well, I don't have money to run ads. You don't need, you could run ads for $5 a day. If you want to do it yourself, You don't need, if you want to hire someone, then yeah, you need to have, a marketing budget. But you could come over to my Skool community and learn how to do all the things and do it yourself. So I've got a website, stacykovitz.com. I have a podcast that is 5 minutes long, tips and tricks. And you can imagine, as chatty as I am, in 5 minutes, I don't get to too many tips each time. I'm like, ah. Yeah, everywhere. I'm everywhere as Stacy Kovitz. LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, Stacy Kovitz. COV, like COVID.
It's
COVITZ.
easy to remember.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add today to our discussion?
Okay. Let's see. So we talked about get your pixel right now, set up your business account right now. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. Go to Meta and just create a business account. If you need resources, you can find me, and I've got all those resources. So set up your business account, get your pixel set up on your website if you have a website, landing page. If you decide to start to run ads, have a testing mindset. Don't go right in for a sale right out of the gate. Make sure, if you want to sell something, that you've tested it before with other people. They've bought it. You have testimonials. You don't have to have testimonials to sell something, but that it's proven. It works. Yeah. So, so be ready. I don't want to make this a scary thing, but my intention always is I want women to make money. I want women to make money and be able to provide for themselves and their families and their communities, because I feel like women give more. Well, there is a study. I know that women give more. Women that make more money give more money than men. And that's my goal. And so nothing hurts me more than when people say ads don't work and I wasted my money, because it's like, oh, let me look, let's fix it. So yeah, just have the right intention and expectations. One more thing. I will add one more thing, because here's another mistake. Is it like midnight? I'm sorry.
No,
Is it
it's only 4
thing?
p.m. It's all good.
Okay. The one last thing. Now, old school, if you learned how to do ads 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there was this strategy that was going around. Just do traffic as your objective, because it's cheaper. So you'll have all these people, just do traffic. It'll be so much cheaper, and you'll get more clicks. That was the strategy. And they'll come to your website, they'll come to your landing page, and that's all you want, and they'll opt in, and it'll be great. Well, here's the thing. Meta knows that, and that is not how they work anymore. As far as your objective, when you go in, it'll say, what's your objective? And there's 6 of them. There's traffic, there's engagement, I don't even know, sales, leads. If you want to sell something, if that's your goal, you need to have your objective be sales. If you're doing a lead magnet and you want leads, your objective needs to be leads. Because that's a big money waster when you are thinking you're going to save money by doing traffic or engagement, but you really want sales. And here's why. Meta is finding those people that you tell them to find. I want sales. Meta's saying, okay, we're going to find people that buy. We're going to find you buyers. When you say traffic, Meta's going to find you looky-loos. They're going to find you people that love to just be on there and looking. And that's a huge, huge mistake that I see, is people trying to save money and be savvy and not getting results. You want sales, click sales. You're going to spend more, but you're going to have
That's
better
a
results.
great tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So,
that. Thank you so much. Amazing. Well, thank you, Stacy. This has been such an interesting and educative conversation today, and I'm sure that many of the women in this community will benefit from your wise advice. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me. This has been fun. I'm like, "Ugh," I'm so amped up.